Welcome back, nerds. Fino here with a guide for Mary Anning. Not to be confused with Mary Reed. Although... nice. She's a limited 1-star Lancer introduced in Mississippi Mythicizers, and she is, to date, FGO's first and only 1-star Lancer. Let's see what she's up to when she's not busy inflating the servant coin economy. Leading off Mary's kit is Sea Lily Charisma. This grants 3-turn party buffs for female and unknown gender servants, attack, arts, and NP gain. Before you ask, no, she's not a discount Castoria. That's Jufu, who we'll have cost to deal with soon enough. While the effect magnitudes aren't anything game-changing, there are a number of servants that can benefit from this combination. But let's take a look at the rest of Mary's kit before we get into team building. Madame Fossil's Great Discovery dumps them to 30 stars on a 4-turn cooldown at the cost of a little self-damage. 30 is really high for a stardom skill. For reference, a single coin light puts out 20. There is Amadeus, who pours out a colossal 50, enough to guarantee every single one of your cards crits, but Amadeus is an outlier. Business Acumen is an AoE charge drain, 10% party battery, and a party crit buff. The pattern with Mary Anning, it seems, is to have a lot of little good things with a couple of premium effects hidden here and there. Because let me tell you, a 30 stardom and guaranteed AoE charge drain are pretty impressive things for a 1-star to have. Is this supposed to be some sort of metaphor? Maybe like digging up fossils in dirt? I don't have the media literacy for this, let's keep going. Mary's Noble Phantasm is Juria Antiqueer. It's an AoE arts attack with a one-time buff block. Its overcharge effect is a preemptive arts buff. Only 1 turn though, so no ramping. Believe it or not, with a hit count of 4 in Mary's buff suite, she can actually farm with this. Not bad for a 1-star, huh? If anything, she reminds me of Jason in that she punches above her rarity, but there is a similar catch in that 1-star servants do very little damage out of the box. So while you could run Mary Anning as your main farming Lancer, you'd probably need to sink quite a few resources into her, including Grails. Some people have done this for Jason, who is fundamentally a much worse servant than Mary, but the thing is, it's all relative. Jason is a drop of water in a desert. Mary is a bucket of water inside Melt's swimming pool. The Saber class is a dried up hellscape in terms of arts AoEs, and with both Yamato Takeru and Muramasa being very rare 5-stars, Jason can look quite tempting despite his incompetence. Mary, on the other hand, is stuck in a class full of really solid 4-star farmers. Percival, Amdarillis, even Fishman Finn gets the job done. 2 of those are general pool servants, and Mel's popular enough to have gotten multiple banners. At NP1, any of those servants is going to outdamage an NP5 Mary Anning. Good for a 1-star, not really worth using for this specific application. More promising is her supportive capability. Even narrowing the pool down to female and unknown gender servants with Arts Noble Phantasms, you have a substantial number of viable synergies. Ones that stood out to me were Alco, Yang, Original Recipe BB, Ranmaru Summer Erisei, Io Estrella, and Creamhild. As for how you work Mary into these setups, 1-star supports are generally one-and-done affairs. Their low stats mean that their cards are dead weight if they aren't enabling specific chains. For this reason, it's in your interest to get them off the field as quickly as possible. The normal way of doing this is to use a Taunt Craft Essence. Outrage is available through the Rare Prism shop and should be your first choice. If you were lucky enough to get Kuda Poster Girl, even better. But it's quite rare at this point, so I'm not going to assume that you have it. But assuming you're using Outrage, there's a case to be made for keeping Mary at the bare minimum level she needs to obtain Business Acumen. So if you're feeling fancy and want to dabble in esports Mary strats, consider setting aside a second copy for this purpose. If you don't have any Tansi E's and you break your Katheya Boys ticket, worry not. One of those servants I mentioned earlier has a solution. This is Creamhild, and we'll have cause to deal with her in depth very soon. But the important part for Mary is that she has a targeted taunt that also doubles as a 50% battery for herself. So with either Castoria or a Charger Pendant Jufu, Cream can use her Noble Phantasm on turn 1 while also getting off all of Mary's skills. Ideally, Mary goes down from Focus Fire and your next support rolls on in. Nothing too fancy, but Mary Anning's kit doesn't really lend itself to complicated Rube Goldberg-esque strategies. It's just assorted good stuff. Mary's quite good for a 1-star servant, but the fact of the matter is that she falls into the category of being nice to have instead of being necessary to have for any particular strategy. And as an attacker, despite having better fundamentals than someone like Jason, Mary has the misfortune of being in a class that doesn't really reward her for punching above her weight class, because her competition is a bunch of 4-stars who also punch above their rarity. So instead of looking at her through that lens, I view her as a very respectable cost filler. If you're using a team of women or unknowns and are looking for someone more aggressive than Mash, and especially if you have enough spare cost to also run a Taunt CE, give Mary a try. She's got a lot of stuff to throw into the mix. It's a little scattershot, sure, but I'm sure something will be handy for a given situation. Thanks for watching, lads. Like if you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more, and come on to my twitch.tv/Finotaisen where I stream every weekend, 3 PM Pacific time, Friday through Sunday. This week I'll be rolling for that walking disaster of a servant. You know the one. See you there.